actual fact is that the hospitals started before, and they were called hospitals because they did what? Open hospitals. Well, that to me it sends a shudder up my spine. That's not a very good thing, because these guys were mendicants, they were apothecaries. Let's see where that road would lead you. You're talking about, today's lockdown and the people behind it. Yeah, the Club of Rome, ever heard of them? The Club of Rome is run by the Knights of Malta, and they are apothecaries, and they do know all about you from a medical point of view, and that's why they've wheeled this out. It's one of the old secret society techniques. Check these people. Hostel, where does that word come from? Hospital, hotel. Where do those words come from, and what do they represent? Do you know they represent a secret society? That's why the doctors used to wear the white robes forever. And, you go to St. Mary's or wherever and look at the symbolism. Just look at the symbolism. Scottish Rite hospitals all over America. Shriners. You know who the Shriners are? I mean, what? So when some nitwit starts saying, you know what you're talking about, you're a conspiranoic, I go, you dead right I am. Thank you for, letting me know. It's actually in plain sight. This is the most bizarre thing. Like I said, if you see the shield, there's a shield on the dollar bill. There's 13 arrows and 13 leaves and an eagle. Anybody know that relates to the tribe of Manasseh? That isn't even one of the 12 tribes. It's like a sort of a split-off tribe with Ephraim. What on earth would an old Judaic symbol from old Judah be doing on the American $1 bill?
Yeah, let alone a pyramid or all this Egyptian stuff.
And all of that. You've got Judaic, and you've got 13 stars. You've got, pyramid. There's a very odd pyramid and the eagle. Where does all of this come through? You see, so I've always had an inherent love of symbolism and etymology and all of that. So I'm doing this because that's vocational.
Now, when we're talking about criminal activities, especially at the elite levels in the world, we have to take something into consideration, and that is the dynamics of a cult, which, if you go back to the first episode, I define what a cult is. What I think we could be dealing with here is a cult that is blended with a military order. The Knights Templar and the Knights of Malta both identify themselves as a military order, but more on that later. I want to take you to one of Michael Tsarian's articles where he goes into his research regarding these chivalric orders, and it's called By Sword and Shield. And it goes through a history of these military orders that a lot of people may not be familiar with. And he gets into the Templars, the Knights Hospitallers, the Scottish Rite, the Masons, the Exons, talking about the double cross, the symbolism that's involved, the esoteric and occult layers to all of this, the ancient knowledge that these elite groups claim to have. And there's an interesting part of this article that I wanted to point out to you, which is that he gets into clarifying how these orders work. So he says this: the Templars and their associated orders were not only involved in military activities. The Knights of Malta, for example, were originally known as the Knights Hospitaller and were accomplished apothecaries. Suggestively, the humanitarian Red Cross organization bears the colors of the Templars, a red cross on a white field. The Nazis did likewise. No surprise then that Hitler, the Jesuit from Munich, was financed, supported, and directed by the Knights of Malta.